This is the Phoenix mind, where the fire refines, break the chains and rise to shine. Rise stronger, lead with heart, every end a brand new start. With Lisa Manzo, we transform, we ignite. This is the Phoenix mind.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Phoenix Mind podcast, and I'm your host, Lisa Manzo, and today my special guest is Tanya Lleigh.
Hi.
And I'm going to read you her bio so you can learn all about her. Then we'll talk to her. Tanya is a passionate mindset and embodiment guide. I don't know what that means, so we'll find out. Dedicated to helping individuals unlock their potential and create lasting transformation. As an NLP master practitioner and instructor, and a practitioner of EFT, matrix therapies, Reiki, and life coaching, she spent years refining powerful tools that help others thrive. Her coaching journey began after personal tragedy led her to a coach who helped her rebuild her life, an experience that inspired her to do the same for others. As co-founder as Coach Core, Tanya combines her deep passion for coaching with the systems and strategies professionals need to succeed. Coach Core simplifies and elevates the coaching experience, providing business, tech, and community support to help coaches expand their impact. She believes in the power of collaboration and is committed to redefining what's possible in the world of coaching. Welcome, Tanya. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Okay. So just so you know, I know Tanya personally, so this is nice. I love having my friends on my podcast. And so Tanya, tell me, what's an embodiment guide? I have no idea.
Oh, so for me, when I use that word, it is this way of just kind of stepping into your own power, your own truth. So just embodying and becoming that version of you that's always been there. We just, as life goes on, trauma hits, experiences happen, we tend to shift away from her. And it's just finding our way back to her so that you can truly be who you are,
Awesome.
unapologetically.
Unapologetically. I love that. So listen, so take a few minutes to tell us, you alluded in your bio of your personal loss, that why you do what you do. Take 2 to 3 minutes and tell our audience what happened, because we
Tell my
want to
story.
know.
So 2017 was probably the worst year of my entire life. And it's actually turned out in the most backwards way to be one of the most beautiful experiences that I've had. My father growing up, he was always sick. So he was diagnosed with MS about a month after I was born. So it was always a reality in our life. We didn't see a lot of the effects that it had on him till about the last 10 years of his life. But in 2017, it was about April-ish. He had a nice little tumble, put himself in the hospital. And a week later, my grandpa ended up in the hospital. Both of them stayed in there for a while. One was battling what was a broken leg, and then more of the MS symptoms. One ended up with cancer. So it was a rough few months. At the same time, I was actually in what was not kind of, it was a really unhealthy and toxic relationship. Anyways, fast forward, dealing with all of that for about 2 months. End of May, my grandfather actually ended up passing away. The cancer won. He did not make it. 2 weeks later, I came home and that toxic relationship had passed away on my couch. And then 2 weeks after that, my dad passed away. So it was 3 significant male figures in my life within 30 days of each other, and left me in this space of, I have no idea what to do next. I don't know how to take a step forward. I don't know how to process all of this. And to a certain degree, I had spent so much time in this caregiver role, just fighting to keep my head above water. I didn't know who the heck I was. And it was this pretty dark point in my life where everything just kind of came crashing in. It made me question, what is the point of this? Like, why do good people have things happen to them? Why didn't I see the signs in the unhealthy relationship? Because it was actually a drug-related passing. I had no idea this was an issue because I was so distracted with everything else. I didn't see the signs, / had never really been around that before, so I didn't know the signs until it was too late. So it was this really eye-opening experience of My world just came crashing down. What do I do? What's next? And I hit this point a couple months after I let myself wallow. I did the things of like, I'm gonna hide, I'm gonna pull back, I'm just gonna take myself, like I'm gonna comfort myself, I'm gonna do all of the worst habits I can possibly do. I'm gonna eat all the good food, I'm just gonna hide in my little bubble of apartment, and I don't want to talk to anybody. And I did that for a few months. And then I had this moment where I took a step back, and it was almost this minute hit in my head of my father would not want this for me. So I have two choices. I can stay on the ground and I can keep going this way, or I can get up and I can fight. And I chose
Wow.
the latter.
That's I just want to say wow to losing three significant people in such a short period of time. Um,
It was a lot.
it is a lot. I
It
mean,
was.
and it's so interesting because death affects us all in such different ways. And I remember when my dad died, and was 10 years ago, this month actually. And after, my father said some not so nice things. He adored me, so I said, but he was still human, right?
Yeah.
So he used to tell us that he wasn't leaving us any money. He didn't want us to have anything. And I never we he could never verbalize why he wanted to say that. And because he put all these wishes on me, like you're not going to get anything, like I'm not worthy, right? Because that's how I took
Mm,
it, right?
yeah.
My life fell apart after that. And I've been working for the last 10 years to put it back together. And so tell us more. How did you put your life back together after that? Tell us what you did because I'm intrigued.
Uh, well, because of the way my ex had passed, I was in a fortunate position where victim services kicked in and I was able to get some counseling that way. So I did the traditional talk therapy. For myself personally, it did not have an effect. I know that there are brilliant counselors out there that can do fantastic things. For my experience and where I was at, the counselor I was assigned didn't do what I needed in that moment. However, she did wake me up to the fact that I did need somebody else to get some help. So I kind of started, keep in mind, this was like a year later. Like I had given myself almost a full year of just like, I don't know what my name is. I don't know what to do. I'm going to stay in this job I hate. I'm just going to go through the motions. I was a walking zombie for a good chunk of that year. And it was after that that I actually just started looking around and just trying to like, what's my next step? So if this lady couldn't help me, is there somebody that can? Is there direction that I can find? Is there something that's going to light me up? And it technically started with some Facebook ad from some girl in some infinity pool talking about how she made six figures last year. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to follow down this path. So I ended up in this network marketing company, still technically associated with them to this day. They're fantastic. However, one of the beautiful things that no one talks about when you start network marketing is how much personal development goes into that. So I went headfirst into that because the mindset side of things really just fascinated me. And about 4 months after that, I was talking to a girl on Facebook that I actually went to high school with. So I'd known her since I was in like grade 6 or something. And we were just having a random conversation. And it turns out she had actually gone ahead and become like a certified mind coach. She had the NLP, she was teaching it, and she did all the things. So I talked to her a little bit because it was somebody that I had known for so long. I trusted, and I ended up signing up to have her help me with my healing. I explained my story, kind of said, this is where I'm at. I really want to move past this, and I don't quite know how. So I ended up signing on, did a package with her, and within my first few sessions, felt so different that it inspired me to kind of take steps forward. So much so that when she started giving the opportunity to learn what she was doing, I jumped in and I took the courses and I kept going from there. And it has been a slow and steady progression from there. I wouldn't say that there was this dramatic moment where I was like, okay, so everything's back to normal and I'm me again. Actually, I don't even think I've actually felt that until about the last 6 months. And it's been about 8 years at this point. So, it does take some time, but it's just kind of, I think, always finding that next step. What can I do next? Who can I ask for help for? And the biggest part in all of that for me was just asking for that help. Because I think so many of us are programmed to, I got to do it on my own. I can't share that side. I can't be vulnerable because somebody's going to charge. Exactly. Like somebody's going to change me. Someone's going to judge me. And it's just not true. When you ask for help, it's amazing the doors that actually start opening. And I don't just mean ask some help from other people. Like sometimes I'll just sit down in kind of like a meditative state and I'm like, can I get some help, please? And the downloads that come from that, like it's all me talking to me in essence. And I'm still getting information and guidance that has ultimately shaped the next steps that I take.
I love getting downloads from yourself and so I'm still at my job, right? And I got a massive download at work yesterday, right? I've been suffering a little procrastination here and there on the business side, for whatever reason, and I'm working through it, right? And I got this massive download yesterday, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take this energy from today, I'm gonna bring it into tomorrow, and I'm just gonna knock tomorrow out of the park.
Yes, you are. I love that because in essence, like yes, it is like spirit, it's God, it's whatever we choose to believe in that, but it's also coming from us. It's that super conscious side that is tapping in and when we can guide ourselves, like that's powerful. And it takes a hot minute to learn how to start like tapping into that and doing that. However, when it flips, it is incredible the doors that open.
And it's so interesting because for different people it comes in different ways. Okay. So
Mhm.
it comes in for a variety of ways for me. Okay. One of them is sometimes it whispers and sometimes it screams. Okay. When it screams, I get scared because I know something really bad could happen if I don't listen, because most of the time it whispers. Right? Do you find that like the
Oh,
voice?
100%. It's it's crazy because if I look back in reflection, I feel like my dad and my grandpa were a separate thing, but I feel like my own like intuition and what the whispers were, I had been ignoring for so long that the bad thing that happened was losing this person. And if you go back in your life, you actually start to see parts of that because it's almost like it'll whisper and then it'll get a little louder and then it's like, hey, you're not paying attention, so we're just going to slap you in the face until you do.
So I know you said that the relationship was a complete surprise to you, when you came home to that, and I'm sure that must have been really crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, was was your grandfather and your father a surprise?
Um, I mean, my grandfather was 96. He lived a really good life. He had various religious beliefs that ultimately created the end outcome, because there were paths or treatments that he potentially could have gone down. However, his beliefs told him not to do that. I also think his age. So, him, not so much. My father, I mean, he had MS my entire life. You knew it was coming at some point. It didn't necessarily make it easy. We had moments prior to that in ICU where they were talking about pulling the plug. So it was not necessarily a surprise. However, I don't know if that made it easier or harder.
Right. Yeah, because I don't know, and you don't know, right? Because you
Yeah,
only know what you lived.
exactly. Yeah.
So you moved on, which is great, and you reconnected with yourself. So you became aware of what you wanted to change, and you started focusing on it, and doors just started to open for you because you asked for help, right? So now you help others. Let's transition into that.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Let's
So
transition into that because they want to know, because now you've taken this, you've lost three men in 30 days, and now you're helping others because of
now I
your
help
team.
others. So it's changed a little bit actually in the last little bit. So it started with the mindset coaching itself, which I still do to a certain degree, but I was able to start helping people shift the same way that my coach had given me those tools. So do those sessions, see things differently, and shift from there and just really have their own personal breakthroughs. And that was such a beautiful and profound space to be in. It also taught me a lot of lessons along the way of what all goes into being a coach. because it's so fantastic. We go out, we get our certifications, we want to help people, and we forget about the business side of things. So that transitioned a little, and now I do the mindset stuff a little bit. However, I've kind of transitioned into this almost business coach where we actually help coaches who are certified in that get their marketing message out there, get their tech ready, and get all of their assets in place so they can go out and make a huge difference. Because it was the thing that I wished I had had in that moment so that I could have had more of an impact on the lives of the people who were coming to me. So it just has allowed me to kind of take that beautiful gift and spread it a little bit further.
Oh, I love that. So what do you think is there something in your life that you rarely get asked about that you'd like to talk about on your journey?
Oh my goodness, that's a really good question. That I rarely get asked about. I think the thing that comes to mind, and I don't know why this is coming to mind, but I think it's the consistency behind it, the discipline that comes from undertaking any type of healing or training, knowing that you're gonna have moments where you're gonna question why you're taking this path, why you're working so hard to make these changes. And that can be in healing trauma, that can be in starting a business, that could be in your health journey, like it can be in any area of life. Those moments are always going to come where you feel like you're kind of like, I'm hitting this wall. And it's what I've discovered throughout my journey is it's those moments that strengthen us. It's those moments when we break through that show us what's on the other side of that place where we used to stop before.
Okay.
And when we push through that, that's when things tend to click.
That's beautiful. So, you've said that, in the last 6 months, it has changed. So, compared to what it was and what it is now, what does emotional strength mean to you compared to what it did, say, 6 months, a year, 5 years ago?
6 months, a year ago, I think emotional strength I felt was still that you had to do it all to a certain degree, that you had to hold yourself to a certain standard to be all in on it and just maintain your own emotions and work on yourself daily. Um, Now I would say that's not true. It is to a certain degree. Yes, there is that element of accountability that you need for yourself. You are the only person who's going to make changes for you. No one else is going to do it for you. However, when you surround yourself with the right people and you let yourself unapologetically shine and just be like, this is me. I love her. I'm not changing her. Um, there's a certain amount of strength that comes from the outside too. And it's almost like the people around you are just kind of solidifying what's already going on inside of you. And that emotional strength just feels more connected and grounded in a way.
That's awesome. And let's talk about after you had your experience with the 30 days, let's call it.
My 30
The
days.
30 days. I know we laugh about it now, but I know it is serious.
Yeah.
But anyway, so how has your self-worth changed over that since that time? Like what's changed for you?
Truthfully, I look back at it and I thought I knew who I was. I thought I was being authentic and true to me. I thought I knew what I wanted and where I was going, and I don't think that that's true. Coming how far I've come and just stepping into the other side of it, I think looking back, I did what I was told to do. You go to school, you get the job, you work your way up the corporate ladder, you meet the guy, you start settling down. I was following the steps that were laid out for me, not the steps that I laid out for me. And there's a difference of doing what is expected versus doing what feels right. And that I think has been the biggest difference is now I feel like every day I wake up with purpose. Every day I get up and I'm like, okay, like these are the things I get to do. It's not, oh, I have to work. It's I get to work. It's, oh, I have to do this around the house. I get to do this and I get to be this version of me that that girl 7 years ago could only dream of being.
Isn't that amazing? Like we can look back and see and see how far we've come. I have this picture I took in January 2018. And whenever I start doubting myself, I take this picture out. It's on my phone, And I'm like, wow, look how far you've come. Just
Isn't
look
that
how far you've
amazing?
come. I didn't smile in the picture. I just looked dead in the camera and I just felt every emotion I was feeling at that time. And I know me, so I know what I was feeling just by looking at the picture. And now I can look back and say, look how far you've come. Do you feel the same way?
100%. I even will look at pictures from this time last year and I'm like, is that the same girl? Like there's just a difference in my energy and my light and the way I show up that I can't quite explain it. There's just like that obvious shift and it I truly, yeah, I believe that 100%.
Mm, mm. Do you believe there's a link between emotional intelligence and purpose in life?
Absolutely.
How do you
Absolutely.
how do you help people figure that out?
When we can start tapping into who we are and really start heightening our emotional intelligence, we can start defining our purpose and what it is that we're meant to do. Um, it's actually funny. I love this question because my business coach the other day, he was talking about how often it is the worst things in our life that happen to us that gain us the most clarity in what our purpose truly is. And our purpose is often linked to these experiences because they were given to us in order to open that door. And I really believe that because when we can start tapping into either side of it. So if I'm starting to figure out my purpose, I can increase my emotional intelligence. If I'm starting to become more intentional with my emotional intelligence, I can access my purpose. And they're so intertwined in how we shift and shape ourselves that it becomes this beautiful kind of connection that when we figure out one piece, the other is almost guaranteed to come.
That's so cool. Do you have a daily practice that you for your emotional health that you
Um, yes and no. I say no because I'm going to own it publicly. I've been slacking very, very much, and that's okay. Um, Generally, when I'm in uh, integrity with myself, it is the journaling and the meditation in the morning. I have not done that for a while. Right now, my daily practice is movement, getting out, moving my body. It's giving myself that space. I'll often sit with my book and my coffee and just kind of like start my day nice and slow, and just allow myself to kind of ease into it before hitting the ground running because I feel like it's those moments, especially when we first wake up and we're in that more connected state to the universe, God, all of that, that more clarity tends to come in.
Oh wow, that that's profound. If you can teach one emotional skill, what would it be and why?
Resiliency.
What does that mean to you, resiliency? Because it means different things for different people.
It does. So resiliency is the ability to push past the blocks that seemingly come up. It's having that courage and that confidence to face whatever life throws at us, knowing that there is either a beautiful lesson or something wonderful on the other side. And I think that that can go through our hardest moments. If we can act with resiliency, we can at least give ourselves enough of a reason to get up and fight. And I think that would be the one that I would teach because enough people in this world, unfortunately, have these horrible moments come or things happen in their life. And if we can give ourselves that grace to try to see it through a different lens, it can change the way we respond to it.
That's beautiful. So I got two more questions for you. When people want to learn more from you, how do they do that? How do they connect with you?
So right now, the easiest way would be Instagram. So I am Tanya underscore Lee. Lee is Leigh. That would probably be the where I spend the most amount of time. I do have the Coach Core website as well, so coachcore.ca. You can always get a hold, book a call with me. We can talk more. That is generally, yeah, the two places that I tend to spend the most time.
Awesome. Awesome. And so when you were in your rise from the ashes moment, what was one tool that you used to get you through and you want to share with others?
This is going to sound so silly, and it's funny because it's the one that I don't know if I would have necessarily said 30 minutes ago. For me, it's breath. So when those things come up, it's just leaning into that breath, breathing in, knowing that everything in life passes. This moment will pass, and just allowing yourself that opportunity to let your intuition and your inner guidance open up. So when we can calm our nervous system, we can start talking to ourselves more, and breath is the quickest way to do that.
Well, thank you, Tanya, and thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And this has been another episode of the Phoenix Mind Podcast. I'm Lisa Manzo, your host, and I will see you on the next episode.
This is the Phoenix Mind, where the fire refines. Together we rise, transform our lives. So subscribe.